Hello everybody and welcome to my Cauldron of Carnage Mythic guide. This one isn't too different to Heroic. You just have a lot more space denial because it takes a bit longer, so you just have to be really strict on your bombs. And then there's a couple of differences where there's some toys that you need to knock into each other that you get a debuff that does some small damage for a little while, but if you stack it, it does more damage. And then also there's a beam that does sort of a triple beam rather than the single beam. And on the monkey side there is the images that basically always leave a patch no matter what. You can't stop the patch. If you just CC them, they will leave a patch when they despawn. So yeah, it's still a case of you split your group into two healers on each side, pop hero, one pull, and we'll just go through some positioning and the extra mechanics, and yeah, let's have a look. So first things first, you can see that we take the boss right over to this corner, and that's because we want to use as much of the room as possible for the bombs. So we all stack, we have a nice bomb right on top of us, and then you'll see that the beam comes out. They move out to the right to fire the beam. You shouldn't fire it at the other group, you should try and avoid that. And then we all get knocked to the left, and then we stand next to the previous patch, trying to get our circles out as much as possible to spawn another bomb. And that's generally how you would do it. You'll rinse and repeat it. I'll show you some difficult crossovers later, but you just rinse and repeat it and try and put that bomb in, you know, as much tight space as you can. You can see there, they probably shouldn't face it at the other people, that's probably better. And we just use this to knock ourselves away from the previous patch and be in the next position. So yeah, you just need to be very, very tight on that. It's basically the same as Heroic, but you just need to be a bit more strict. So just to say some good emphasis on the beam and what it looks like. So we've got a bomb here, we're all going to bait to the left, here comes the beam. You can see how it's different to Heroic, where you've got these three prongs and you always want to face it away from the other group and into a wall, which is why we get knocked away from fire and face that towards fire, and you're pretty much always safe that way. Okay, so the toys. So this is the new mechanic, and basically you want to kick one toy towards the other. You can see them all spawned here, and essentially they'll charge into each other, they'll do a dot, you wait for that dot to go off, and then you kick the next one, okay? So you're going to want to kick them in this direction. So you can see that one, you'd kick that way, and then you'd wait for the dot to go off. That one, that way, wait for the dot to go off. That one, that way, wait for the dot to go off. Obviously the other person on the other side is doing the same thing. And follow the one near me, you can see we have a little oopsie and someone kicks it that way. When they're not meant to, and then eventually someone kicks it backwards even further and backwards even further, but it does eventually get kicked. You can see it on the left there, it does eventually get kicked correctly. It doesn't matter how many times you kick it, it just needs to make sure it goes into the middle, so you can see it in the middle now. And then one more kick by the person that's actually meant to kick it, and it will go to the center, and then they'll clash. Okay, so that's how you handle that mechanic. So as stated, on the monkey side, you'll see that the images spawn, so I'll just freeze it here. You can see these like little images have spawned, and in Mythic basically they leave a patch no matter what. So the way that we do it is obviously we work from one side over to the other, and we just try and, you know, make them stand still in a good spot where they'll expire and not be causing issues. So we move from one side to the other, so we just try and keep them as far over the other side as possible as we move, keeping the place where we're going clear. It's not really that difficult, and it's not the end of the world. If you have a bad one, just don't walk into it. And yeah, that's pretty much the fight. I'll just go through the rotations now, and then that's it. Okay, so I'll just very quickly run you through where we do our positioning. It should be very, very simple, okay? So essentially, we start with 1 and 2 over here, 3 and 4 over here. This is so we can just put the, you know, lightning patches over this side, right? And then we'll creep over the other side. So you'd have lightning patches over here, not a problem. On this side, what you'd have is you'd have the bombs. Well, I'll use the actual bomb. And then so we'd bait one here. Okay, we'd all get knocked in this direction. We'd bait one here. They're a bit bigger than that, but we'll do that. Okay, and then we'll bait one here. Okay, nice and easy. They then go into the middle, they clash, blah, 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 blah. And then when they go back, this would move back here, and we'd be more in the middle, and we'd be putting the static charges around here. Okay, this would go back, and again, it would be more at the back, and we would put in these like here, here, and here. Okay, and then they clash again. And the interesting thing about this is what I then do, or what we then do, is the monkey would go back and just move slightly over. So fine, he's towards the back. So you'd then have your statics going here, here, and here, right? I move this back here this time, and I go on top of these. So we'd go here, here, and here, okay? On top of these, and then they clash. Boom, 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 boom. And what that means is now when the monkey's moving over here, you've got all this space over here, and you don't have to worry about if you went here before and then you're in the middle and then you're a bit too close. So now the monkey's over here, you do your statics over here, and he's now over here, and you're fine to go. Nice and easy. And that's how we do it. Nice and simple. So in general on this, just listen to the people that are kicking if they need an external, if they're in a bad spot. And yeah, other than that, just be really, really careful with your space and don't bait bombs in a really bad place. Just make sure you're getting into a good spot. And you'll kill the boss nice and easy. So thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. That really does help. And I will be out with the next one soon. Sooner than the last ones, hopefully, anyway. But yeah, as always, thank you for everybody that helps. I really enjoy it. And I wouldn't be able to do it without you. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.